The Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Cologne in Germany has disclosed it is worth 3.35 billion euros, or $3.82 billion, making it richer than the Vatican. Publication of the first full report of its wealth reflects greater financial transparency within the German church since Pope Francis removed a bishop in Limburg, near Frankfurt, last year for spending 31 million euros from secret funds on a new luxury residence.
The Pope has passed well beyond his humble roots in recent months, becoming more popular than any leader of the Roman Catholic Church in decades. But now comes a charge about pastors being too concerned about filling their pockets with dirty cash and leaving a broken church in its wake. It's always a pleasure to welcome into MidPoint President of the Catholic League and author of the new book, The Catholic Advantage: Why Health, Happiness, and Heaven Await the Faithful. Bill Donohue joins us today. Bill, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
How you doing, Ed?
Excellent, my friend. I knew that you were the only person that we had to ask right up front about this. This is Dr. Orville Beckford. He has written a new book called The Seven Churches of Asia Minor, and he says that the church is broken because all they're doing right now is worrying more about wealth above the sacrifice of Christ. And the soundbite we heard coming in says it. Many people believe the church sometimes is concerned too much about the money they make and not the people who walk in the door. What do you think?
Well, I wish the Catholic Church was as rich as Harvard University. One of the great myths is that the Vatican has all these billions of dollars. It's a joke. Take a look at the endowment of Harvard University. It dwarfs the Catholic Church. Now, look, it's kind of like a catch-22, isn't it, Ed? If the Catholic Church doesn't have enough money, then they're saying, well, you got to close the doors and shutter the parishes. And what are you doing? Why aren't you a good financial steward? Then if you have too much money, then you're just in it for the bucks and you're just bankrolling some people. Look, every diocese is different. Every country is different. Certainly, you'll find examples of excellent stewardship and those who are not doing too well. I know one thing, with the passing of Cardinal Egan in New York, if there's one strength that man had, it was to take dioceses that were deep in debt. I'm talking about New York and I'm talking about Bridgeport. And he turned them around rather quickly.
Isn't it fair to say, though, and again, I know this from growing up as a kid, you always see churches that are rising, massive, huge, and it doesn't make a difference whether it's necessarily the Catholic Church or any other faith, but big churches that go up, monstrous places, and people are always wondering, why is that money not put towards the people and what they need? Because it seems as if you could clothe a lot of kids, feed a lot of kids, and do a lot of good if you just had a slightly smaller place and you put more money into where it's needed.
Well, of course, you could close down all the churches, then you wouldn't have to worry about that at all, would you?
No. Let's not close down the churches. Of course not.
No. The thing is that if you ask the people, they want a place when they go to church they want to experience a sense of solemnity. And to them, they do want money put into the church. I guarantee you, if you take a look at any survey done of Catholics, and I would say it's probably true with other religions as well, they don't want some little dump shack to go into. They want something with some degree of regality. They want the organ. They want statues that cost some money. So this idea that it's an either or, a zero-sum equation, if you give money to the church to make it look nice, that somehow you're not having enough soup kitchens, I think is simply a bogus argument.
But is that really important, Bill, to Catholics and people when they come in, anybody when they walk in? Certainly you don't want a place that looks like a hovel, but you don't want something that sometimes looks as if it's been paid for with money since the 17th century. Is that really important to Catholics to have that sort of grandiose nature walking in?
Certainly not in every church, that's for certain. But I tell you what, the number one church, obviously, in the city of New York for Catholics is St. Patrick's Cathedral. They've been involved in a major renovation there because there were stones coming off the ceiling onto people's heads. So that somebody would say, I think we ought to fix this. Catholics are very happy to pony up money to make the cathedral the stellar flagship church in New York, if not the entire United States. So I think if you did this at the local level, in the local parish, you could have some problems. But in every major city, you're going to have a cathedral, which is going to be just like a Yankee Stadium would be.
All right, and many people do already consider Yankee Stadium a cathedral, so we could always say that and put that in there
right.
for extras. There you go. Pope Francis, just days away from completing his second year as a leader of the Catholic Church. Approval ratings are sky high. Why is it? Because there are some people who would say that's because the man's taking some chances. He's talked about homosexuals. He's talked about so many things that were taboo that people now maybe see a crack in the Catholic faith that maybe this is a pope that will really create some change.
He hasn't created one change.
Right.
Not a single change.
But he seems to be the guy that might do it. Maybe that's why he's popular?
Well, he's been around now for a little while, so why hasn't he done it? No, look, he could change, or the church could change, for example, on something which is a discipline, that is to say, a self-made rule such as celibacy. Cardinal Egan, when he left the Archdiocese of New York going to retirement, said maybe they ought to reconsider that. They may want to do that, but the fundamentals of the Catholic Church will never have women priests. Okay, that'll never happen. You already have married priests in the Catholic Church. They come from the Eastern churches, so that wouldn't be brand new. Look, Pope Francis is loved because of his bluntness, because he's not scripted. There's a genuineness to him that I think people can really reach out and touch. But he's made a lot of pastoral changes, stylistic changes. He doesn't have the authority, for example. People may be surprised to learn this. The Pope does not have the authority to, for example, make women priests. Why? Because that's in Scripture. Jesus chose 12 men. He didn't even choose his own mother, did he, to be an apostle?
Well, but wait a minute. There's a good point. So you already went right ahead to where I was going next. About 90 seconds I have left. You said that priests, women will never become priests. Okay, but why not? What's the big deal? There are people that are going to say...
we like to follow Scripture in the Catholic Church. Jesus had 12 men, the apostles, didn't choose any woman. And we look at Jesus as the incarnate of God, that he is there, and we try to have the priest to be in formation with them. Nor are we going to change on gay marriage.
But how about growing with the times, though, Bill?
Change on gay marriage. The Catholic Church will never recognize gay marriage, ever. Nor will it ever allow for abortion to be considered anything other than intrinsically evil. Now, people don't like those teachings. I would recommend that they shop around and go someplace else. A lot of the mainline Protestant religions will be glad to have you, although they're the ones losing members, and we're not.
Do you think, then, that if, for whatever reason, something happened and that women were allowed to become priests in the Catholic Church, that some people would leave the faith, maybe even you?
I don't have to worry about that. That's not going to happen any more than the Catholic Church is going to say that the killing in the womb, it's called abortion, is going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. So I'm very comfortable with the fact that we have a long tradition of 2,000 years, and we're not going to, change with according to the editorial winds of the New York Times.
And you think that's a good thing, that they don't change?
Well, I think that you can change certain things. The fact that you're going to make glacial changes, no, I think that's not for us. I do believe in diversity. So if anybody wants woman priests, they like abortion, they like two men getting married, go right ahead and do it. But just don't shop around in the Catholic Church, because we're not going to do that.
It's good to see that you still are very calm and you never really tell us how you actually feel, Bill. It's wonderful. Let's remind everybody, the book is called The Catholic Advantage, Why Health, Happiness, and Heaven Await the Faithful. Always a pleasure, Bill. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, take care. Coming up next, planes falling off the runway, skies overcrowded, and why passengers have every right to be concerned. It's next, right here on MidPoint.